One of the biggest reasons why US companies want to outsource to Latin American countries is because they share a more similar time zone. But does this actually matter? In this video, I'll share why hiring from a similar time zone doesn't actually make a big difference and guarantee results. First, I want to say I have nothing against hiring from Latin American countries if that's where you truly want to hire from. Maybe you went there during college to a place like Colombia or Brazil and you had such a great time that now you want to stay connected and hire from there. If that's the case, that's awesome and I support it. But if you're blindly outsourcing to a Latin American country because you think time zone makes a big difference, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't. Just take the two biggest outsourcing powerhouses in the world today, India and the Philippines. The outsourcing industry in these countries is worth billions, but the time zone could not be different. For example, 9 to 5 EST is actually 9 to 5 in the Philippines as well, but that's 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Outsourcing would not be successful in places like this if time zone was a real factor. And even if the time zone was a factor for some reason, there are other places like African countries where the time zone isn't that far off. For example, if you were to outsource to Ethiopia, 9 to 5 EST is about 4 p.m. to midnight their time. Now, I personally would not want to do those hours today, but I know that back when I was in college, those are the hours I actually worked. I would go to college during the day, and then at night from 4 p.m. to midnight, I was working as a waitress. Now, I don't know how other outsourcing companies do it, but I'm sure it's something similar to what we do. When candidates apply, we ask them, what time zone do you want to work? And there's a drop-down menu. If they want to work 9 to 5 EST, that's what they select. Others want to work PST. And for those who don't want to work US hours, they would apply for one of our clients in the UK or in Australia. But the majority of candidates that apply for Cradle actually ask and prefer the 9 to 5 EST shift. And when our clients ask them why, they usually say something like this: I would be up to midnight anyways, at least this way I get paid for it. But there's other reasons behind it. A lot of the people that we hire at Cradle are going to grad school during the day, and then they come home, and at night, then they work. And that's actually how they pay for grad school. We also get a lot of moms and parents who want to spend all day with their kids, get their kids ready for bed, tuck them in, and then open up their laptop and work. So whatever the reason is, somebody who wants to work for a US company or an outsourcing company knows what the hours are and wants to work those hours for a specific reason. Now, I think why US companies think they should hire from Latin American countries because of the time zone, it's because we've all had a bad experience with outsourcing. Maybe you spoke to someone on customer support who could not understand you and it was a frustrating experience. But the answer isn't because they were working a different time zone than you. There are so many other reasons why outsourcing can be a true success or true failure. I've been in the outsourcing industry for a long time, and there are some not great things that are happening. For example, there's a lot of middlemen in the outsourcing industry. An outsourcing company will get a job and outsource it to another outsourcing firm. And so by the time the money actually reaches the person who's doing the job, there's not a lot left over. And besides too many middlemen, it could also just be a failure to set up outsourcing properly. What I found works better is treating your outsourced team members like your internal team members. Have them work the same time, go through the same training, take off on the same holidays. The more you treat them like typical team members that you already are working with, the better the results. You may also be working with an outsourcing partner that does not have a good recruitment strategy or a good account management strategy. There are just so many factors like setting up the team correctly and choosing the right partner that will make or break your results. Now, the point of this video is again to say, if you want to hire from a Latin American country because you feel a special connection there, go for it. I love that. I support that. But there's a lot of specific benefits from outsourcing to an African country. And if you want to learn more about this, I recently did a podcast episode of my friend who outsourced to Colombia because they had a similar time zone. and the 3 things that made his results not good, and how hiring from an African country would have created better results for his team. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please like and subscribe, and put a question in the comments about other outsourcing myths you want to see dispelled. Thanks.